It's just the same as you took out the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor, and the Nexus itself will shoot laser beams. So don't be too shocked when you walk in there and try to backdoor an undefended Nexus and it just murders the hell out of you.
Oh, amazing. What's it like to lane in Wild Rift?
So, I mean, laning should, again, feel very similar, just it's a lot faster. I mean, you still have your same kind of like beginning, like laning phase, mid-game, end-game, all that kind of usual stuff. But additionally, you will also have your same usual suspects, right? You'll have your top laners, you'll have your mid laners, you'll have your bot laners, etc. You'll even have like your Teemos, right? Like all the usual laning types that you would expect in the League of Legends game.
And how also like how did the cameras work as well?
Yeah. So the big change on the camera is actually for Team 2 specifically, or Red Team, whichever way you want to frame it. The big thing here is the camera is always flipped, right? Because you can kind of see the way the buttons are laid on the HUD is kind of displayed. It's really important that most of the combat space is going up and to the right.
Yeah.
And all good graphs also go up and to the right, but it's also true for combat space. And in this scenario, basically, what will end up happening is your Dragon and Baron lane, if you're on Team 2, will actually be flipped because the map is mirrored.
Right.
So that can take a little bit of getting used to if you have a lot of muscle memory and a lot of sort of expectations of like, hey, I'm a top laner, right? It's like really reframe it and think you're a Baron lane player or a Dragon lane player, and then adjust accordingly.
Okay, and I suppose we should talk about runes. I mean, do we still have them in Wild Rift?
Yeah, we do. This is one that I would say a system that is streamlined a bit, even though I said not to use that word earlier, but I would definitely use it in this case. We have a lot of the same usual suspects here for Keystones. We think that's where sort of the majority of the gameplay was, so we wanted to sort of keep that. And the rest of it we kind of trimmed down to a number of minor choices to try and capture and kind of augment and support playstyles. These will look fairly similar to the minor runes on PC. But the main difference here is you'll see there's not a tree structure per se, it's just kind of you pick one from each row. And the main reason for this is, we think we can capture the most of it, we really want you to be in the game as fast as possible and not sort of fiddling around in champion select and kind of undoing a bunch of decisions and micromanaging your build in that way.
And I suppose I have to kind of ask about the items as well. Can players still build all the swords and like all the boots and stuff that they love?
Pretty much, yeah. There'll be a lot of the same usual stuff as before, like your Trinity Forces, your Blade of the Ruined Kings, all that kind of fun stuff will be there. We also have a few new fun items. I think that will be kind of exciting to try out here. But the single biggest change is active items. Okay. So on PC, you can buy 6 or 7 active items if you count your trinkets as well. But the main difference here is that you can't add 7 buttons to a controller just randomly. And so we really want to make sure that active items are super, super critical to like that really authentic gameplay and that really cool kind of feel how you augment and adjust your character. So what we ended up doing was we said, hey, we're going to give you 1 active, and we already have 1 boot slot, so let's just combine the 2. So by the time you basically will build and you'll upgrade your boots to sort of tier 2 boots, then you can actually upgrade them into add any active that you want, right? Whether those are like Hourglasses or QSS or Protobelt. If you want to run Protobelt Garen, go for it. It's a lot of fun. And you're just buying the active. There's no stats associated with it, so it kind of opens up the meta a lot and gives you a lot more freedom of kind of what to pick.
That's true. And obviously, so we talked about kind of running down enemies and destroying them. I think we should probably talk about how pretty it looks. It looks like it's had a bit of like a new lick of paint.
I mean, it is definitely a new lick of paint, that's sort of on top of basically rebuilt everything, right? So, again, this is sort of not a direct one-to-one port. We rebuilt everything from the ground up. We're really focusing here on device performance, compatibility, all these kind of things, and that really made us kind of start from scratch there. Additionally, we're also, while we're doing this, we thought, hey, why not update some of our older designs? So you'll see some champions, such as like Earth skins like Angle or Jax, which is it was a skin that was totally fun and great in 2010, 2011, whenever we shipped it. But we thought that it could really use kind of an update and sort of a brand new kind of, you can see it here, it's pretty sick, but it's capturing a lot of the same feel for Fizz. I like that little guy. But this is sort of an example. We have a few of older skins like this that we kind of just decided to do, hey, while we're at it, we're building it anyways, let's just update it.
I mean, why not? You might as well just go the whole hog. I want to know a little bit about, what about the turntable that we saw in the video? Kind of what's that all about, the kind of new virtual wardrobe?
Yeah, so turntable is actually one of our, I think it was sort of a a little surprise of a feature, right? We sort of started building it, and we're
Yeah.
like, this is actually really, really cool. So we kind of went all in on it. But obviously, when players are used to League of Legends, mostly what they're sort of used to is you kind of realize what the champion looks like and should feel like in sort of in the splash art or like
Yeah.
animated splash. And we're totally keeping those, right? We're going to have splashes, we're going to have animated splashes. They look sweet. But we also thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of give players the ability to sort of see their champion in sort of high-res, full 3D, and really kind of figure like, hey, who am I playing? Like, what is this character about? And we think we can really capture these in some of these really cool little animations that really kind of, deliver who the champion really is.
Oh, it looks amazing.
It's very pretty. I love Poros too.
We're just going to watch it for a while on stream. Just keep watching. Oh, amazing. So what can we expect from Wild Rift in the future and obviously in the lead up to its release? Any kind of little surprises maybe you can share with us now?
I mean, maybe something comes out in the Q&A later, but I mean, right now there's like obviously a ton more that we want to show. We'll be communicating a lot more as we sort of move forward on the game in the coming months. Obviously, if you were on site early, hopefully you got a chance to play. If not, you can jump in right now to the, if you're on an Android, Google Play has pre-registration up right now.
Okay.
Obviously, other platforms will have that available in the future. Other than that, please, the feedback and the reception so far has been really welcoming and overwhelming. And so, yeah, please keep coming. If you have thoughts, feedback, questions, etc., please send them over. You can use boards, tweet me, whichever. But again, this has just been so awesome. So thank you guys so much for all the support you put into League of Legends. We wouldn't be here without you, and this has been amazing.
Yes, definitely. It must be so nice after, especially having to keep everything quiet. I don't know how they keep everything quiet for so long.
I mean, I was in a dungeon for 3 years on this project. I'm
really
so glad to be out.
difficult.
Yeah.
You're like daylight, hurrah. I believe we do actually have some questions.
Okay.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. So, question number 1 is: can we link our accounts to get the champions and skins that we have?
So you will be able to link your accounts, but we're not going to do sort of one-to-one inventory sharing. And there's a few reasons for this. The biggest one is basically that we're not going to have content parity, right? We're not going to have every skin. We're not going to have every champion.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we're being equitable and fair to the players that have invested. And so what this means basically, hey, if right now, like I'm in a Bard main on PC, but Bard's not in Wild Rift, right? And if I put all my money into Bard and I would get nothing, that would feel really bad. Whereas if I played a champion that was in our launch roster. But that being said, we will make champions pretty accessible. You'll get a lot of champions to sort of level up. And we'll also, when you do the account linking, we will also give you rewards based off of your investment, so you can jump into Wild Rift with like a really big head start.
Okay, cool. So also, question number 2 is: will you be able to play the game through emulators, mouse and keyboard? And if so, how do you keep it fair?
So this is a really good question, right? Especially when you look into multiple platforms, like how do you keep kind of competitive fairness and competitive integrity? And so obviously we're not going to there's no current plans to basically build a PC client for Wild Rift. There's a lot of fantastic emulation software already out there that pretty much works on all the devices. So if you really want to play Wild Rift on your computer, you can totally do that. I would also say we also have League of Legends on your computer, which is also really good. So
yeah,
you can play that one too.
It's quite good.
In terms of like the sort of competitive fairness,
Yeah.
I mean, this game was built from the ground up for twin stick. And like all the skills sort of supported, all the tuning, all that kind of stuff. So I actually don't think right now that keyboard and mouse will give you very much of a competitive advantage. You're usually kind of trading sort of fidelity and the ability to precise. You're getting a little bit potentially of like aiming your skill set slightly better, but you're losing a lot of like movement fidelity. As an example, because like a joystick is just a lot easier to move around and sort of carefully precising than sort of trying to right click.
Yeah. And then the third and final question, which is probably the most direct: Yuumi and Wild Rift when?
So, I mean, we got Garen, so I mean, it's like half the combo right there. But I mean, right now, there's a lot of characters we've already announced. We're going to try to shoot for about 40 when we start going wider to players, but we're not ready to announce what champions in particular we have.
I feel like are you giving things away with your face right now?
Am I?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like to read into things a bit too much, perhaps, when I interview people, and then make everyone really awkward. So, well, thank you so much. But you guys, we've got one last game spotlight for you, which is the Legends of Runeterra, and we're going to have 2 of the developers who are here tonight. But let's check out a trailer for the game before we dig into the story. But can we have a big round of applause for Brian, please, for joining us on stage?
Thank you.